Near-death experience. A Navy diver meets God and reunites with his soul family. Welcome to a mysterious and magical world. Have you ever wondered, is death truly the end, or is it simply a door opening to a mystical reality that we don't fully understand? On this channel, I will take you on a journey to explore strange near-death experiences, where people who have stood between life and death return to share things that science cannot explain. Get ready for unimaginable experiences, mysterious lights, strange encounters, and supernatural phenomena you've never heard of before. Each video is a journey into a world where the laws of nature are broken, and one thing is certain, you won't be able to take your eyes off. If you love thrilling stories and want to learn more about death and the miraculous mysteries beyond our reach, don't miss any video. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss this exciting adventure. Are you ready? I, Ethan Bennett, stood on the deck of the Aloha, where the sea breeze whispered and the waves crashed rhythmically like the mysterious melodies of the ocean. Looking toward the horizon, I felt the vastness of the sea, where water and sky blended into an endless whole. The deep blue of the ocean transformed into patches of foamy white waves, as if they were whispering the secrets of the universe. In that moment, I felt like a grain of sand in the vast desert, small and insignificant before the power of nature. The storm arrived too quickly, like a monster rising from the depths of the ocean. I heard the growl of the wind, and the air around me grew heavy, as if time had stopped. My fellow travelers on the ship felt the unease too, but we still tried to maintain our composure. Within me, a strong premonition arose. This was not just an ordinary storm. As the wind began to howl, the Aloha rocked violently. I gripped the railing, my heart overflowing with chaotic emotions. Suddenly, the ship tilted to one side, as if an invisible force was pulling it down. Screams echoed around me, but in that moment, everything became blurry. I saw my comrades being swept away, and in the chaos, I felt myself sinking, unable to do anything to save them. When I was pulled into the deep sea, all sensation of life slowly faded. The cold water enveloped me, pulling me into an entirely different world. It felt like I was in the midst of a dream, where time and space lost all meaning. Everything around me became blurry, but amidst the darkness, there was a faint light, like a lantern guiding lost souls. I no longer felt my body, only an endless stillness, a strange sense of peace as though I had let go of all burdens. In that moment, I heard strange sounds, whispers from the souls that had passed. They called my name, leading me on a journey into the unknown. And when I faced that light, I felt as though I was standing at the threshold of a new world, where all the secrets of life and death would be revealed. I felt a deep connection to the universe, a feeling I had never experienced before. It seemed as though I had touched the boundary of death, but deep within me, I was not yet ready to leave this life. I had a sense that the storm, the fear, and even the unfulfilled desires had become a part of me, urging me to return. Time may have stopped, but my journey had only just begun. When I regained consciousness, the space around me unfolded in a strange way, as if I had stepped into a completely different world. Everything around me was no longer clear. It seemed like a fusion of light and darkness, a crossing between the tangible and the intangible. I no longer felt my body, no longer the heaviness of each muscle, of each joint. A sense of complete detachment flooded through me. There were no sounds, no wind, no life as I had known it. Only an absolute silence, a stillness so profound that I couldn't tell how much time had passed. Perhaps time had stopped, or perhaps it simply no longer mattered. I was like a weightless soul, like the wind, freely rising from my body. I soared through dark clouds, traversing an immense, indescribable space. This space was unlike anywhere I had ever known. It wasn't a physical space. There were no width, length, or height. It was a world without the concept of things, only a feeling of warmth, as if I were wrapped in an invisible halo of light. This light wasn't blinding but gentle, sweet, like a soft wave caressing my soul. In that moment, I felt as if I were merging with the universe, as if I no longer existed as a separate being but was part of an eternal whole. All worries, all the pains of body and mind from my previous life seemed to have vanished. There was no fear, no endless questions about the meaning of life. I only felt tranquility, a tranquility I had never experienced in my earthly life. From the heart of that brilliant space, a familiar figure from my past appeared. It was my family, those beloved ones who had passed long ago. But in this moment, they seemed to be right in front of me, so close and familiar in a strange way. They didn't say anything, nor was it necessary for them to speak, because in their eyes, I saw everything. Those eyes were filled with unconditional love, a deep understanding I had never felt when I was alive. I realized that, in this moment, nothing was random, nothing was a mistake. Everything was just right, and I no longer needed to worry. I couldn't say that I fully understood their presence in this moment, but I felt a profound connection, an invisible thread pulling me closer to them. That feeling was like a warm embrace, protecting and comforting me from all suffering. That love had no limits, unbound by time or space. They looked at me with eyes full of peace, as if saying, "Everything will be okay. You don't need to fear anything anymore." At that moment, I realized that this was my soul family. They weren't just those who had passed, but a part of the journey I was undergoing. Although they had departed in the physical form, their souls still existed, always accompanying me, like an invisible source of strength I had never recognized before. That feeling cannot be expressed in words, but I understood that I was not alone. In this world, in this boundless space, I always had a family, a place to return to. When I looked into the eyes of my loved ones, a deep sensation arose within me. There was no more suffering, no more unanswered questions, only absolute peace. A pure light surrounded me, not a blinding light, but a gentle light, like the warmth of a small flame in the dark night. And in that light, I realized that everything I had gone through, all the worries and pain of my past life, seemed like ghosts of the past, no longer significant in this world, and my soul felt a miraculous connection with the universe. Everything around me was no longer material, but energy, waves, invisible currents that I could feel with the sensitivity of a soul. The images of my family were still there, but they were no longer in a three-dimensional space as I once knew it. They were part of the endless flow, blending together like bright stars in the night sky. One of those figures, someone I couldn't immediately recognize, slowly stepped closer to me, her face kind but full of strength. She looked at me with a familiar gaze, as if I had known her for a very long time. But I couldn't remember her name, I couldn't recall specific memories. Only the sense that she was a part of my journey, and I was a part of hers. She extended her hand, like an invitation. I didn't know if I could, but in that moment there were no fears, no physical constraints. I only knew how to move forward, even though there was no road, no destination. I walked toward her, step by step, each step like a new adventure, each step like a part of an eternal story. As I got closer to her, a sense of familiarity and peace spread within me. She didn't need to say anything, but I understood that I was standing at an important threshold, where the unknown would soon be revealed. It was as though I was standing before a road with no traces, no timeline, but I could feel it pulling me forward. She smiled, not a simple smile, but one filled with understanding, an affirmation that I had arrived where I needed to be. In that moment, I heard a sound echo in my mind, a voice as soft and gentle as the wind blowing through peaceful fields. "You are ready," the voice whispered. "Your journey is not over. It is just a part of the countless journeys you will go through. It is not time to return. You may continue, for your light will guide you through the dark regions." Those words were like a soothing balm for my soul, as if they brought the comfort I had been seeking all my life. I didn't need to worry anymore. I didn't need to search for the truth, because I knew that the truth is not something to be found in a moment, but an endless process, an eternal journey that each soul must go through. When the clouds in my mind began to dissipate, a blinding light appeared before my eyes. It was not an ordinary light, but one that seemed to emanate from another world, vast and endless. It didn't hurt my eyes, instead, it brought a sense of peace, as though the light were a part of me, merging with every cell. And then, two beings appeared, not in form, but through a powerful sensation that made it clear they were supernatural entities. They didn't come just to guide me, but like old friends, souls who had journeyed with me throughout my life, though I had never recognized them before. "You are part of a great plan," a voice echoed in my mind, gentle yet undeniable. The voice was not advice, but an obvious truth, like something unavoidable in this universe. Every life has a purpose, and you are living to fulfill that purpose. I stood still, feeling each word seep into my heart, like light shining into the dark corners of my soul. In that moment, I understood that my life was not a series of meaningless steps. Every event, every moment in my life had a reason, each contributing to the grand picture of existence. The pain, the success, the failures, they were all necessary pieces, helping me understand my mission. God has given you a gift, the voice continued, like a sweet yet profound reminder. That gift is the ability to heal, the light you carry within you. You will bring that light to the dark places, to the places in need of healing. I suddenly remembered the times I had helped others, the moments when I reached out to them at their greatest time of need. The encounters that seemed so casual, yet held profound meaning beyond words. The faces of those who came to me in moments of despair, and what did I do? I didn't do anything grand, I simply listened, shared with them, helped them realize that they were not alone in their pain. And then, the voice acted like a lever, helping me clearly see that I, too, was a part of that healing. You can make a difference, the voice said, a strong affirmation. Just open your heart, just be ready to share your light, and you will guide lost souls back to the light. Each word sank into me, and I felt its truth in every fiber, every breath. I had not lived in vain, I hadn't simply existed, but I could change this world, even if only a little. I could heal those who suffered, bring hope to souls struggling in the dark. You are never alone, the voice said gently, firmly. We are always with you, walking beside you, to help you understand that you are part of something much greater. Those words were like a powerful wave, soothing me, banishing fear and doubt. I no longer felt alone, no longer lost in this world. All I needed to do was trust in myself, trust in my mission, and open my heart to embrace the light I could bring to this world. I looked ahead, and in that moment, everything became clear. My mission was not just to live, but to live with purpose, to help, to heal, and to bring hope. I was not just an individual, but part of something greater, and from this moment forward, I would never return to the old path. Each of their words was like a delicate melody, echoing in my soul, making it impossible for me to turn back, impossible to live as I did before. The light around me grew stronger, yet it never hurt my eyes, it only made my soul shine like a star in the dark night. I felt something greater than myself, a connection to this vast universe that I had never understood until now. Each breath of mine seemed to blend into the eternal rhythm, as if I were an inseparable part of the endless flow of life. You are ready, one of the luminous beings said, their voice carrying an absolute calm. Your mission will not be easy, but it is the path you must walk. Do not fear the challenges ahead, for each challenge is a part of your growth. These words were not just encouragement but a firm affirmation. I had lived too long in fear, in doubt of my own abilities, but now, those anxieties had no place. The fear within me gradually faded, making way for a strong belief, an understanding that I could face whatever came in this life. The challenges would not defeat me. They would only be stepping stones, helping me rise higher and stronger. You will meet many people along your journey, the second luminous being continued. Lost souls, hearts in pain, they will seek you. And you must always remember that love and light are the only things that can heal all wounds. You must share them without ever expecting anything in return. Their words were like a flame igniting within me, making me realize that my mission was not just about grand actions or prominent gestures. It was about the simple things, about how I live with compassion, how I listen to souls longing to be understood and comforted. I do not need to search for light elsewhere, for I already carry it within me, and I can share it at any moment. I remembered the times I had quietly helped others, when I had sat and listened to a friend speak of their pain, and simply being there, saying nothing, but allowing them to feel they were not alone. It was in those moments that I had given a part of my light, and perhaps, I had helped a soul find peace. You will not be alone, the gentle voice continued. We will always be with you. But you must walk alone, you must walk this path by yourself. Only you can fulfill your mission. A strange feeling welled up within me, not loneliness, but a sense of joy, an absolute freedom. I no longer feared. Every step, Every decision would be a discovery of myself, of the abilities I had never imagined. And though the path ahead may be filled with temptations, with harsh challenges, I knew that I was prepared. The light within me would guide the way, always helping me recognize the true values, what mattered most in life. Never forget your purpose, the voice reminded me, but it was not a warning. It was like encouragement, a loving reminder from the luminous beings. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, remember that you are part of a bigger plan, and you have the power to change this world. I looked around, where the light was faint and the air was filled with love and peace. Nothing existed except the stillness and the invisible beauty of this space. Every breath I took felt like a cool stream, filled with tranquility. I no longer felt the weariness of my body, only a sweet emptiness remained, as if my soul had been freed from the burdens of life. But then, in that peaceful moment, a voice echoed not from any clear source, but from within myself, as if it were a call from a deep part of my soul. It was the call of a mission, a responsibility I could not refuse. "Ethan, you must choose." The words were not advice but a strong demand. "You can stay here, in eternal serenity, a place with no pain, no sorrow. But if you do, you will neglect the mission that has been given to you. Your life will lose its purpose, and your soul will not find fulfillment." I felt the faint light from the surrounding space, a light that did not belong to this world but illuminated my mind, slowly revealing the challenges I had faced and the ones yet to come. I could not forget the pains of my life, the moments when I had to fight not just against the world outside but also with myself. Yet, those challenges were opportunities for me to rise, to fulfill the mission entrusted to me. I looked into that strange darkness and felt a strange compulsion, as if an irresistible force was calling me back. Though my heart was filled with peace, I understood that this was not the end. Rather, it was a new beginning. A new battle that I had to join, a challenge I had to overcome. "I will return," I said, my voice full of resolve, without hesitation. "I will fight. I will live, not just for myself, but for the mission that God has given me. I cannot pass up this opportunity." Those words were like an oath, a deep commitment not only to myself but also to everything I had gone through. In that moment, I felt a strange power rising within me. The challenges, the pain would come, but I was ready to face them. Because I knew, in this battle, there is no giving up. What I am seeking is not peace, but growth, the fulfillment of my soul. And to achieve that, I must return and fight. When I woke up, a strange sensation filled my body. I didn't know what it was, only that I no longer felt the bone-deep pain that had knocked me unconscious before. Though my body still felt heavy and aching, I felt lighter than ever before, as if an invisible burden had been lifted. At that moment, doctors and nurses were busy with their tasks, but I felt as though I had returned from another world. In contrast to my body's weakness, I felt as though I had been reborn. The feeling of life surged within me, so strong and clear that I could not deny it. Then, in that moment, I remembered what had happened when I drifted into a mysterious space, almost without life. I was no longer afraid of death. Instead, I felt a deep sense of peace, a profound understanding that death was not the end but a door, a transition point. I saw something vast, indescribable in words, as if an invisible force had guided me back to this place with a sacred mission. The pain was no longer something to fear, but just a part of this journey. From that moment on, I understood that illness was not a punishment, but an opportunity to change, to heal not just myself but also those around me. What I needed wasn't medicine or surgery, but forgiveness of myself and of those who had hurt me. And most importantly, I needed to live with gratitude, cherishing each moment that I could still breathe in this world. This reality came to me like a gentle breeze, sweeping through my soul, opening doors that I had never noticed before. I began to practice meditation every day, not just to relax, but to connect deeply with my inner being. I discovered a new kind of energy, a strange peace, as I allowed myself to listen and understand what my soul truly desired. And through these days, I realized one thing: if I wanted to live, I had to live with faith in something greater than myself. Each day was an opportunity to rise, to face illness as a challenge in the long journey of seeking deeper understanding of myself and the universe. The physical pain was just a test of time, but my spirit had risen strong, for I was no longer alone on this journey. Now I no longer fear death, nor do I see life as a harsh struggle. Instead, I have learned to cherish every moment, living with unconditional love for myself and others. I know that no matter what happens, I will never give up, for I have found my true purpose. As I sat in the living room, the soft light from the window filtered in, and I couldn't help but feel the change within myself. My body, though it had healed much, still carried a mark in my soul, a mark that cannot be erased after the experience I went through. That feeling, like a strange heartbeat in my chest, a resonance of a new life that I've only just begun to understand. I looked out the window, where the morning sunlight gently touched everything, painting mystical images in the sky. The clouds drifted by, like silent souls, carrying with them the stories of time. I felt a deep stillness, not just from the surrounding space, but from within myself. Each breath I took now was not just life, it was a form of gratitude, a thank you to this universe, a universe I had discovered in a way that only those who have touched the boundary between life and death can understand. The near-death experience I had was not just a brief encounter with death. It was a journey, an adventure into the mysterious depths of the soul and the universe. What I saw, what I felt, cannot be fully expressed in words. But I know one thing for certain: I am no longer the person I once was. I am no longer afraid, no longer worried about the things that used to make me anxious and confused. I've touched the intangible, the mysterious side of the universe, and now, I feel the sacred connection between myself and everything around me. The love I feel from everything, from people, from myself is no longer a luxury. It is a presence, the soul in every moment. The gratitude I feel for each breath, each step I take, is like a prayer, a sigh in the silence of the world. I understand now that I am no longer alone, no longer by myself in this life. Death, to me, is not an end, but a threshold leading to a new life, a life where I am part of a greater, more mysterious reality. Every morning when I wake up, I feel as if I've just returned from a long dream. Everything around me, the trees, the flowers, the sounds of life seems to have its own rhythm, a song that I can only hear when I live in this moment, when I am no longer afraid of the future or regretful of the past. This feeling, I cannot fully describe in words, but I know that it is an integral part of the new life I've entered. Now I see life with different eyes. Every person around me, every breath I take, carries a deeper meaning. The lessons I've learned from battling illness, the teachings from death, now shine like bright stars, guiding me on my journey. And I no longer feel lonely. Everything around me is part of me, just as I am part of it. I decided to share my story with the world, a decision not easily made but something I felt I had to do. As though something beyond my understanding was waiting for me, so I began attending seminars, where I met people also seeking healing not just for their bodies but for their souls. These gatherings were full of hope and a longing for healing. Each person there was not only seeking a remedy for their body but also a cure for their soul. And I stood there, before them, telling of things I had never dared to speak of before. Those moments, those seconds when I stepped through the veil of life and death, meeting the soul family, touching the divine, it all felt like a strange dream that I could never forget. God has given me a priceless gift, I began, with a deep understanding in every word. It wasn't just a resurrection, but a mission. I do not heal with medicine alone, but with love, forgiveness, and what I have received from deep within my heart. Every time I stood before the crowd, looking into their welcoming eyes, I not only felt the change in their gestures and glances but also felt the resonance within myself. They did not see me as a man who had returned from death. They saw me as someone carrying a sacred mission, as if I were a bridge connecting two worlds. And in my words, they found the glimmer of light they had lost hope of finding. Change does not happen overnight, but I feel that with every sharing, I am planting seeds of healing. These seeds not only transform those who listen to me, but they also change me. I am not just a storyteller, but a person living within my own story. And that is the most important thing. I am living with a mission, not only to heal myself but to bring clarity, hope, and love to those seeking light in the darkness of life. As time went by, I realized that I wasn't just living for myself but also for the people around me, those who needed me and those to whom I could bring something meaningful. One afternoon, as I meditated in my room, a strange sensation came over me. It wasn't a breeze or an ordinary thought but a powerful surge of energy, like pure light emanating from somewhere distant yet incredibly close. It seeped into my mind, soothing and comforting me, but also challenging me, as if inviting me to embark on a new journey, a path I had never dared to imagine. That feeling was not just comforting but stirred something deep within me. It felt like a reminder, a signal sent from a place beyond my understanding. I knew I had just received an important sign. And for the first time in years, everything felt clear. Near-death experiences had not only taught me how to live in the present but reminded me that everyone has a purpose, a mission only they can fulfill. I began to change my perspective on life. In the past, I often thought that happiness was the ultimate goal. But now I understand that happiness is just a part of the journey, and that journey is far greater. It's no longer just about me but about how I can contribute to this world, how I can inspire and help others find their own light. Every person I meet has become an essential part of this story. They aren't perfect, and neither am I. But I see potential in them, a capacity for healing, transformation, and resilience. All they need is a bit of guidance, a word of encouragement, or sometimes just the presence of someone who truly listens. Life to me is no longer a meaningless series of days. It's a vast tapestry where everyone can leave their mark. And I, with everything I've been through, believe that miracles aren't something distant or unattainable. Miracles lie in the way we live, love, and connect with ourselves, with others, and with the sacredness that surrounds us. Have you ever felt that the pain inside you was so great that it seemed nothing could soothe it? I have, caught in old wounds, wondering if I could ever escape that darkness. But the miracle is, right in the midst of that pain, I found the path to healing, not by running away, but by facing it, not by enduring it alone, but by opening my heart and sharing it. I remember the first time I dared to share my story in front of a group of complete strangers. Sitting in a small room, with soft light from candles, I felt my heart heavy. But when I began to speak, each word seemed to lift part of the burden. Healing, I said, looking at everyone around me, is not about forgetting the wounds, but learning how to turn them into strength. An older man nodded gently, his eyes lighting up as if he had just touched something meaningful. I continued, feeling a connection gradually spreading throughout the room. I used to think I didn't deserve love, didn't deserve happiness. But then I realized that in order to heal, I first had to love myself. Not the easy, shallow kind of love, but a love that is full of acceptance, accepting the mistakes, the scars, and even the flaws of myself. A silence fell over the room, but it wasn't the silence of judgment, it was the silence of empathy. I shared with them about my early days of practicing gratitude, even for the smallest things, a beautiful sunny day, the sound of birds singing outside the window, or simply a deep breath after crying out all my tears. I realized that when I am grateful, my heart opens, and when the heart opens, miracles begin to appear, I said. A young woman, her eyes full of pain, shyly asked, "But how do you get past resentment? How do you forgive when someone has hurt you so deeply?" I looked at her, feeling the pain in her words. I replied, "When you forgive, you no longer let the past bind you. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself." I told them about the first time I dared to forgive someone who had hurt me to the core. It wasn't easy. In fact, it felt like an inner battle. But when I succeeded, it felt like lifting a heavy stone off my soul. That night, I didn't just speak about healing. I lived in it, felt it, and spread it. The people in that room were no longer strangers. We became a part of each other, sharing in our pain, our hopes, and our strength. And that is the greatest miracle of healing. It's not just a personal journey, but a symphony we write together. When you open your heart, you not only find light for yourself, but you also become a guiding light for others. I stood still on the sandy shore, my feet sinking gently into the soft, cool sand, my eyes following each wave as it crawled to the shore and dissolved into white foam. This was not just a beach, it was the place where my life took a turn. Each wave in front of me was like a chapter of my life, sometimes fierce, sometimes calm, but each holding its own meaning. I once thought my journey had ended the day I faced the darkness, felt my breath stop, and my heart seemed to cease. But no, that was not the end. It was at that moment that I truly began. On the other side of the boundary between life and death, I saw a light beyond words, something only the soul could feel. I did not return to life the same. I came back with a different heart, a different soul. I had once been too focused on material goals and distant aspirations. But now, I realize that the true value of life lies in the simplest things: a loving gaze, sincere words, and the present moments I had once overlooked. Facing the illness that had once knocked me down, I no longer feel fear. I know that this pain is not punishment but a gift, a lesson to understand resilience and hope. I know that every day I am alive is an opportunity to love, to learn, and to give. As I stand here, amidst the salty sea breeze and endless waves, I feel connected to everything. The universe no longer feels distant, it is a part of me, and I am a part of it. I am not alone, for the love of everyone, of God, flows through me, like the sea that never stops moving. This journey is not over, and I know it will never end. I will continue to walk, not to seek something for myself, but to give away what I have. A smile, a word of encouragement, a moment of listening, these are priceless gifts. Life is not something that happens to me, I tell myself, feeling the beat of my heart. Life is how I face and live through those things. I leave the beach, without looking back, but within me is the entire ocean. I do not know where the future will take me, but I know that I will move forward, step by step, with gratitude and an unwavering faith. When I returned to daily life, I realized that I was no longer just a cancer survivor. I am a guide, a person who shares hope and healing with those who feel lost. That feeling, the feeling that I can help others, has made me more aware of my purpose. I don't just live to exist, I live to fulfill the things I believe I was born to do. Every day, I don't just walk on the legs of an ordinary person. I am someone who carries gratitude in my heart and an open heart, always ready to embrace opportunities to share my message with the world. I understand that life has meaning when we cherish every moment, and there is nothing more valuable than living with purpose and passion. Each day is a gift. Don't just live to exist, live to fulfill the mission you were born to accomplish, I remind myself, and I want you to remember that too. Because each day is not just time passing by, but an opportunity for you to change your life and the lives of those around you. Life is not about what we own, but about how we live, how we give. And I know that everyone has a mission, something special they can bring to this world. As long as we don't give up and dare to step out of our comfort zones. My journey hasn't always been easy, but I understand that challenges are opportunities for me to grow. And I want to remind you, live fully in each moment, live with an open heart and determination. Because in the end, what we leave behind isn't material possessions, but the marks we leave in the hearts of others. Thank you for joining me on this miraculous journey. I hope the near-death stories we've explored together will open up new perspectives on life, death, and the mysteries that we have yet to explain. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next videos, where you'll step into a mysterious world where science and the supernatural intersect. Let's continue to explore and experience things that few dare to believe. Thank you for being with me, and I'll see you in the next video.